Well, hello there, everyone. I'm here with another review of films. It's been a while since I last dropped a review for any films. No, this is not my first film of 2026. The first film of 2026, in fact, was Scream 7. Unfortunately, though, Scream 7 didn't get its review because it just wasn't that good. So I thought, I need to come up with a better way to actually do a good review for a film. So I decided today to go out and watch Pixar's film Hoppers. So this one is actually really interesting and is a bit of a kind of like a prequel sort of setup to the events of Up, because there is an actual reference to Up's biggest feature from one of the scenes, and I'll get to that without trying to spoil too much about what happens. Basic sort of lineup of the storyline was that we met this character who grew up with like being loved by her family, more specifically her grandmother, and they would always go to this little glade, so like this little lake thing, and would always sit on this rock and watch all the wildlife run free and be free and just spend time enjoying wildlife and watching them do their basic things. And basically, in time, this character goes to this university for like science stuff and stuff. And one of their teachers is actually a scientist and has invented these like crazy robotic characters known as hoppers. So they're robotic versions of the animals in real life. They can act exactly like normal animals can, too, but to do that, they have to be hooked up to the mind of a human. So that was really fun and interesting. And basically, the whole story was that this character would try to bring wildlife back to this glade thing because it had been abandoned for quite a while and blah blah blah. All this crazy stuff were going on, and it was just amazing. A really good story to follow, especially the specific ending where in one scene we actually got that the scientist that I was talking about was the scientist that actually thought of inventing the speaking collars that we see in Up. So if you don't know, there is a scene in Up where Doug, Carl's dog, uh, get that Cal has that dog at the end of Up, and obviously we see him with that collar on that makes him talk, or that can have him talk. So basically, this crazy scientist in Hoppers was the actual original inventor of the uh, collars that can make animals talk, which was actually really cool. So I loved that reference to Up in there. That was absolutely amazing to have that little reference to Up. I mean, to be fair, it was absolutely worth watching. There are a few silly little bits in there, a few that were cool. It was just a really good story all the way through, and it's definitely worth the watch. Out of 10, I'm gonna have to give it a solid, I'd have to say a solid 8 out of 10, which is pretty good, which is like a bang on, really good sort of rating for where I'm speaking. Definitely worth the watch, definitely worth the go. Go check out Hoppers if you wish. It was absolutely amazing. The craziest story, and I pretty much nearly had the entire cinema room to myself. I think there were only like a couple other people that were in with me, but they were like right at the very back of the room. So yeah, it was pretty decent and pretty quiet, but definitely worth the watch. Go ahead and watch Hoppers if you wish. Stay tuned for more reviews coming up very soon, because who knows what could be next.